What's up, guys, and welcome to the fourth floor. Thank you for joining in on another podcast. This is Billy from the PSO Tube.
And I'm
here
Joseph.
with Joseph.
Joseph.
Joseph is right there. Yeah, that's Joseph. So, welcome to yet another episode of the fourth floor, where we cover everything Sega, everything Phantasy Star, where we make predictions on pretty much anything that has to do with Phantasy Star Universe, Phantasy Star Online, and the future of Sega's projects. So I'll let Joey take it from here.
Hey guys, and for those who are wondering, I saw a couple of concerns. Podcast is going to be a weekly thing. We'll be releasing this every Friday, and as those of you know, today is Saturday, so obviously something did not go according to plans, and two things actually messed up. Right now it is currently Saturday, and yesterday we had a podcast recorded and rendered and everything, and well, YouTube was being a little weird with it, and upon constant attempts of trying to re-upload it, I tried to test out the file just to make sure it worked, and for some reason it was corrupted. So woo, right, we have to record it, but I mean, with loss comes some somewhat good news, because this will be a little more updated. There is some news in particular that we have to be regarding, Bill. We should just jump right into it. Sega has been hit with a bunch of layoffs.
Oh yeah, I heard about that, dude.
Well, I think they had about 150 right now, and they have about 300 around there roughly set that they're probably gonna do, and they want to.
Big news.
Yeah, and they're cutting their funds. They're gonna be, which is actually kind of a smart move. And they said they're gonna primarily they're gonna be focusing on 4 franchises. You know what those 4 franchises are, Bill?
What are they, Joe?
Well, Phantasy Star is not one of them. But that does not mean that they are not working on a Phantasy Star project. But the four franchises are Virtual Twinnis. Twinnis. is also not one of them. Sonic the Hedgehog is one of them. Virtual Football Manager is one of them. Total War and Aliens. 2 of those games never touched. Never touched Football Manager. And I called it Virtual Football Manager. My bad. And Total War. Never played either of those. I heard they're pretty good. They're focusing on those franchises. I had played Sega. And I had played Aliens. And I enjoyed them both. Even Aliens Colonial Marines.
Yeah.
They said that they're going to be working on those. And they didn't say anything about Phantasy Star. But that could mostly just be because they still aren't allowed to talk about Phantasy Star for one reason or another. But they did also say they're going to be focusing primarily on smaller projects and like apps for your phone and all that. And PC only games. PC only games could also be Phantasy Star Online 2, which would be a little upsetting if they don't release a Phantasy Star Online game for the consoles. But I'll suck it up and I'll play it because I love Phantasy Star no matter what console or platform it's on.
Oh yeah.
I'm out of breath.
Star is always yeah, that was a lot to say. Phantasy Star is always, a great, layback and easy game to play. It's my first actual MMORPG that I've ever played, including my first MMO overall. I've never even played any PC MMOs before Phantasy Star Universe. I thought it was the most amazing thing. And it's that little piece of playing Phantasy Star for the first time kind of left a little puzzle piece in my heart, as cliche as that sounds, but
Banjo-Kazooie might take it, Bill. Be careful.
Oh no.
Jingoos. Anyway, but on a serious note, if you were, odds are slim, but if you are one of those 150 to 300 people who have been laid off, we're sorry to hear about the bad news, but we do wish you the best in your future endeavors. But on a brighter note, Bill, and as long as we're done with this topic, you want to move on. Windows 10 got announced.
Windows 10. Oh yeah.
And we're always looking for reasons of why Sega has been delayed for all the years that it has been delayed. Phantasy Star 10 might be a reason. As I said, slim chances here, but there is a good chance that Microsoft kind of wanted to take a partnership in Phantasy Star Online 2 and have it as a launch title for their Windows 10. It could be one of those things that when Windows 10, not Windows 10 in particular, but the idea of bringing games to the OS to the PC has been Microsoft's vision for a while now, and Windows 10 has only just came up, but they always wanted to kind of do like a cross-platform. Not always. Most of the part with Phil Spencer when he took over the Xbox division, he had this vision of
Right.
bringing Windows and Xbox into one. So who's to say that Microsoft, who's also been known to be working with Japan for a while now, one of the games that we could be looking at is Scalebound, which was shown off at E3 last year. But anyway, Sega, Microsoft was looking in Japan for games, and they've been looking very strongly into free-to-play games. Good examples of those is Smite, which is coming to the Xbox One soon.
That's gonna be fun.
Neverwinter, Dungeons and Dragons, coming to the
Mhm.
Xbox One. Happy Wars, which was an Xbox exclusive for a while, now came to PCs, soon coming to Xbox One. So it's a pretty safe bet that since Microsoft have been looking for free-to-play games, they see how well Phantasy Star Online is and how successful it is in Japan. It's a pretty safe bet to say Microsoft probably shown some interest into bringing help porting this not only to Windows 10 but to their console, and it would be an
Right.
amazing thing. Obviously, we're not going to be seeing Phantasy Star Online 2 on the floor of E3 this year, but something I could see happening is them showing off Windows 10, showing a montage of all the games that are going to be cross-platform. Fable Legends is one of those games that will be cross-platform. Who's to say that Phantasy Star Online 2 couldn't be in that mix of games, and just showing off like, hey, you can play Phantasy Star Online 2 with people on PC. And for those who play on the Sony PlayStation, we're not fanboys here. I believe that if it does come out on console, it will also come out for the PlayStation consoles as well. But if I had to choose, like if it were to be on one console, my money would be on Microsoft this time around, just because PSO2 is primarily a Windows game. It always has been since it was announced in Japan. PSO2, not the originals. So I'd say odds are looking pretty strong for Microsoft if it is ever coming to consoles.
Right. I could see
And
it happening.
hmm
That's a very good
yeah,
hypothesis. But like
hypothesis.
honestly, like hypothesis. We're doing science here.
Just scientists
Um
here.
but yeah, I can definitely see it happening. It kind of just like it fits. Um, with the announce of Windows 10 and showing how you can even, share your footage from your PC games to your Xbox Live feed. Sort of turning into like a little social network kind of thing. I think it's amazing because I have buddies that do not play PC games. So if I'm able to play a game on my PC while they play it on their console and still, like cross-platform, I think that'd be amazing. Like we would have so many more options in games to play and people to play with.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what I mean. What as we said before, no matter what console Fancies Are Online does come out for, we're gonna play because we just love the game,
Oh yeah,
and we're looking
definitely.
forward to coming West Side, West Side.
What's
But
say?
anyway, um, it's also Sega has been pretty damn active with their ports.
Mm,
They've actually in the past month or two they've announced two other ports, which despite them doing all those layoffs, it's a pretty good start for 2015. They announced the Yakuza and Fighting Climax. Both of those games I heard good things about, especially Yakuza. Never played Fighting Climax, but it's one of those games that was pretty damn popular, and it's cool to see it coming over here. It's one of those games that had the cult following, and I'm really looking forward to seeing their next ports that they're going to be announcing, whether it's Phantasy Star Online or not. Um, I think odds are it's going to be Phantasy Star. It's going to be in the batch of all these ports that they're releasing. But what they're actually doing with the franchise is still up for question.
yes, definitely. Um, Another thing that I feel that just fits so well with the Windows 10 idea that you had there is that after at PAX, I believe it was a year and a half ago at PAX where they had Fantasy Star Online 2, the Western version complete, and people were able to play it. A very select few people were actually able to try it at PAX. The game was complete, and it was pretty much ready to ship. And then all of a sudden, complete silence. Now, why would they take a game that is, ready? It's everything is fine with the game, and then all of a sudden, complete silence. What do you think, Joe?
I mean, truthfully, there's a lot of things they could have done. A lot of possibilities. As I say in pretty much all the videos, it could be a console port. Another idea is that they want to take a completely different direction with this Fantasy Star. It's who knows that maybe we don't know when it comes to contractual agreements between Sega of America and Sega of Japan. The things could always change, especially if it's a mutual agreement. Let's say, for instance, that Sega of America didn't exactly agree with the direction that Sega of Japan took, and they actually did want to take their initiative and work on even better project. And for all it's possible. It's not likely, but it is extremely. It's pretty possible that Sega is like, well, Phantasy Star Universe is pretty successful here. We have this engine, we have this franchise, and people seem to enjoy Phantasy Star Universe. Let's combine the three and make a great game. Let's release Phantasy Star Online, Phantasy Star Universe 2.
Yeah, definitely. And Sega hears us. They hear us loud and clear. They're not just putting an X over our comments that we're saying like, where's our Fantasy Star? They hear us loud and clear. They're not the type of company that'll just ignore you. And like I've been playing games from Sega for years, ever since I was a kid back on Sega Genesis. That's where I started playing the Sega games for the first time. Honestly, Sega is a big part of the gaming industry, and they're a huge company. So, like, what kind of company would just not listen to their fan base and be this successful in the gaming community?
Yeah, exactly. Just one other thing, like it does go to show that they're putting some work, some effort into porting their games over. I did see in the comments that some people were saying that it was all on Sony's behalf, but there was definitely some effort on Sega's behalf that went into the ports of Yakuza and the Fighting Climax, and it shows that they do have interest.
Mhm.
Um, and obviously, I'll see some people putting a money sign at the beginning of Sega to spell Sega with money sign, saying that all they care about is money. It's
They
not
do the same thing with
exactly,
Microsoft.
yeah, Microsoft, Sony, but I don't understand what this new trend is, but it's not a crime for a company to want to make money,
Exactly.
and it never has been, and I don't know why it is now, where you have people like I don't know, it's these people trying to make money off their products, but there fantasy what people need to understand is Phantasy Star Online isn't Sega's only franchise. There are other franchises which are more popular. Sega, even though people refuse to admit it, Sega is way more popular than Phantasy Star,
Oh yeah.
and I think it always will be. The Phantasy Star is popular, but it's more of a cult following, where it has the fans, but then it has the dedicated fans, and it has a lot of them, like us. We're
Very true.
pretty damn dedicated. Um, but it's pretty. Oh yeah, but where I was going with this, rewinding this a little bit, is you were saying that Phantasy Star Online, it was playable. It was there, and at PAX 2012, I believe. It could have been 2011. I think it was
Yeah.
2012.
Yeah, it was a couple of years ago.
There's anyone who's played Phantasy Star in the Japan version. There's not much more to the game than what we saw at PAX.
Right.
And even if there were all these years of development, there had to have been something wrong. And Sega always says that they'll keep us up to date. They'll give us an update when they have more news, because currently they don't have any. As far as I'm concerned, when you're developing some kind of game, throughout that development cycle, there's always gonna be news. I'm not telling Sega to be like, oh yeah, we got new textures for the brush today, but I really want to. There's always something that they can give us. There's any bit of news that they can toss to us, and they haven't done that for years. Which makes me believe that there is going to be that contract thing
Right.
where if they sign with Sony, if they sign with Microsoft, they are bound to secrecy by them. But with this news that broke out, it is possible that the layoffs have affected the development.
Very
Layoffs
true.
don't happen overnight. These things could build up for a while, and it does affect the development of games. And I feel Phantasy Star did get impacted by that. And I always felt like super strongly of a console release, but it's possible that just got affected by this and the financial situation that Sega's currently in. And we will see in the future. Sega has done all but cancel Phantasy Star, and I still think that it's going to come out because it may not be their biggest IP, but it's a pretty big IP, and it's something that I would like to see them carry on in the future. And if they're not, we're lucky we have a dedicated enough fan base to bring Phantasy Star to us,
Right.
like Phantasy Star Clementine, which, by the way, who's been developing their servers and have found the time to update us as much as they can on the server's development. And those are great guys over there. I'm going to put the description to their forums down below. If you guys haven't followed their forums, please do so. You can learn a lot about Clementine and its development, and you can even get in touch with the community that you'll probably be playing a lot with. So once again, guys, check the description below. If you haven't signed up to that, sign up now. It's worth it.
Yeah, just a little short description about what Fantasy Star Clementine is. I'm going to make it short. If you want to read more, like Joe said, go to the description. There'll be info down there. Um, Basically, Fantasy Star Clementine is, in short, a Fantasy Star universe private server. But there's a lot more to it. It's not going to be just a copy and paste from Fantasy Star Universe to a private server. The developer working on it, he's doing an amazing job, amazing work on it, and he's changing up the game a little bit, and it looks like it's going to be shaping up to something extremely fun. So yeah, definitely go check that out in the description. I think you guys would find it pretty interesting.
Yeah. Short little teaser thing, just because I don't know exactly when we're going to be doing it, but we do have a special little project along with the guys who are involved with the Clementine development. And I mean, I don't know too much about it. I haven't talked to the guy in a while. Not in a while, but I haven't talked to him too much about it. I'll probably hit him up the next week, and we'll talk a little bit about it. But we have a little project coming out, so keep an eye out in the next couple of weeks for it, because I'm pretty excited for that.
Oh yeah,
Um,
definitely.
but Bill, there's also something else that we're doing with this channel.
Oh yeah.
Well, with this podcast, because when we first started off this podcast, we didn't know if you guys were going to like it. We didn't want to invest too much money in something that was just going to flop. So go ahead, Bill. Tell them what we've been doing.
Okay, well, first of all, I'd like to start out to thank you guys, because you guys have been actually, like, thumbs upping, and you seem like you really enjoy these podcasts that we do, and we enjoy doing them. So we're happy to bring you these and further progress our podcasts. First thing that we're going to be working on is we're going to get an intro. I'm going to go into Adobe After Effects and see what I can whip up, get something going, make it a little more professional. Speaking of professional, a second thing that we are doing for this podcast is upgrading audio equipment. As you see, I'm actually using a condenser microphone as of right now that I purchased. Actually, Joe, yours will probably be here sometime next week.
Hey.
So, yeah, we're upgrading our audio equipment, so get some better quality in our microphones, and yeah, we're definitely gonna build this up and make it something awesome.
Yeah.
So yeah, take it away, Joe.
Something. Well, right now, for those who are wondering, I am using a Logitech G19, and it's a wireless
G930.
headset. G930. I'm sorry. What's a G? The G19 is the webcam. That'd be
No,
terrible if I
G19 is
use
your
that.
keyboard.
Oh, that doesn't even produce audio, so never mind. I would have to click. But it wouldn't even be a podcast. It'd be as a type wordcast. Anyway, for any more terrible word puns come out, something I would like to try doing in the future. It's never going to happen. I don't even know why. But it'd be cool to turn this into a video podcast at some point. Maybe we can set up some kind of thing. This is in the way long run, way
Right.
long run. And who knows how long this podcast is even go on for. But I believe the previous episode 1 just reached 200 views, which is pretty damn good.
Yeah, that's actually pretty awesome for us just starting out,
Yeah, I appreciate all the support you guys have done for us so far, and we hope to continue on with these and continue releasing better content for you guys. Which I have something right now that I really want to upload, but I'm a little I don't know the reaction it will get, and it's a franchise I want to do. For those who followed our channel or watched the first video I've ever uploaded, which was my introduction, I'll leave that in the description as well. But I said that I used to have another channel. Me and Billy both had another channel before this one. We all have our own little channels. If you want, we can put our private channels in the description as well. But the channel we had before was a channel called PS YouTube, And that wasn't for news. It wasn't for any of that. And we were pretty damn young when we made that channel.
yeah.
And it was just for machinimas and stupid things that we'd upload. Like, I believe that I put that someone on the forums found sex in the game, where in the menu of Phantasy Star Universe, it would say story
remember
mode, extra mode, and Xbox Live. And I was like, if you take the first letter of each one, it says sex, and I uploaded it. There's things on that channel I wish I never uploaded, but there are some great videos on that channel, and I would want to do this thing. I don't know how popular it would be, but where I re-upload some videos from Phantasy Star Universe, and I haven't came up with any good names for it yet. I just PS YouTube re-uploaded or something. But it'd be cool if I would start off uploading my first video, which was Sonic's birthday, from 2010, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And it's great, just like it's really nostalgic, just living through that.
Video. Great video.
And I loved it. But yeah, it was from Sonic's birthday. The quality is a little bad and everything, but it's cool reliving those memories, and it'd be also cool to bring those memories to this channel. And obviously, eventually we'd run out of videos to upload, but it would be real. I thought it'd be fun to maybe take like community suggestions or community videos where they send us videos and we upload on this channel. And I don't know, we could do that once a week. Maybe we'll just take like 3 videos and we'll play the videos one after another, and or who knows. But I don't know if you guys would like that. I thought it would be a pretty interesting idea. I probably may or may not do it depending on how welcomed it is.
Yeah.
But
we'll just have to wait and find out.
Yeah. Is there anything else about Phantasy Star Online that we should discuss in this episode, or what do you think?
You know what? I think we covered pretty much all we planned to cover.
Yeah, I think so as well.
From, if I'm pretty certain Phantasy Star Phantasy Star, I'm completely certain that Phantasy Star is not dead.
Far from it.
Oh yeah. Like honestly, whether we're getting Phantasy Star Online 2, I can't see just them not releasing another Phantasy Star, So if, God forbid that Phantasy Star Online 2 ends up flopping and only being a Japan released game, there's just always room for the future. But I can honestly say that Phantasy Star is still here. Whether it's going to be Phantasy Star Online 2, whether it's going to be a complete other, like a Phantasy Star game for the console itself, completely different from the PC launch, when it comes down to it, it's Phantasy Star, and we're going to love it nonetheless.
Yeah. So one way I would like to end these is we'd ask a community question. What should this week's question be, Bill? Anything?
This question. Let's see here. Do you have anything?
We'll start off simple with this one. For topics of the fourth floor, the podcast we have right now. Just what would you like us to talk about? Ask us any questions. Ask us. My question is for you guys to ask us questions, and we'll do our best to answer them on the next podcast. Next week, I'm pretty sure we'll be focusing a little more on just Phantasy Star Online 2 and Phantasy Star Universe just as a group. And probably the other ones too on Portable, because I think we have some stuff we want to talk about on that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And we have some other future episodes that we're pretty excited about. We'll talk about more of those in the next episode.
Yeah.
And
no spoilers, guys.
Yeah, no spoilers. But hopefully that nothing goes wrong with uploading this one. Hopefully it doesn't get corrupted or anything. And because that would be awful.
Yeah.
But yeah, so pretty much my question to you guys is just ask us what would you guys like to see coming forth from this channel. If you guys have any questions, just leave them in the comment box below. And once again, I'm Joseph, and I'm joined here with
Billeh.
And we'll see you later. Welcome to the fourth floor, the podcast, second episode. Woo!
Adios, guys.
Wow.
Bye.